A building collapsed in Philadelphia, leaving several people injured and killing at least one. Officials say the building in the Fairhill neighborhood caught fire early Saturday morning. Neighbors say the three-story structure had a pizza shop on the first floor and apartments on the second and third floors. The fire had been put out when the building collapsed just before 3:30 in the morning. 5 firefighters and licensing and inspections department inspector became trapped, and numerous firefighters were at the scene as the rescue effort unfolded. One firefighter, an unidentified 27-year-old department veteran, had died. Officials said 4 other firefighters and the inspector were transported to Temple University Hospital, and the inspector was released, and the firefighters are in stable condition. Philadelphia Fire Department First Deputy Fire Commissioner Craig Murphy added that there is no indication of possible collapse post-fire. However, another collapse cannot be predicted. An investigation is underway. 2 people are dead after a drive-by shooting at a barbecue in Texas, and it happened just after 10 p.m. Saturday night as a family gathered for a barbecue in the front yard of their home on the holiday weekend. Authorities say the suspect pulled up in a vehicle and fired several rounds, hitting 5 men and 2 women. 2 men died at the scene, and the 5 other injured victims were transported to a local hospital. Authorities say multiple children were inside the residence at the time of the shooting, but none of them were injured. The suspect has yet to be identified. Well, in Washington, federal offices are closed today in observance of the Juneteenth holiday. President Biden signed legislation last year officially making Juneteenth the newest federal holiday in nearly 40 years. And as we mentioned throughout the show, there have been many celebrations taking part across the country. NBC's Chris Pallone has more.
Across the country, Juneteenth celebrations kicked into high gear over the weekend, commemorating the day in 1865 when enslaved people in Galveston, Texas learned they were free, 2.5 years after President Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation. The date has been observed by many for decades, but it didn't become a federal holiday until last year with a stroke of President Biden's pen.
We can't rest till the promise of equality is fulfilled for every one of us in every corner of this nation. That, to me, is the meaning of Juneteenth. That's what it's about.
In Fort Worth, Texas, Dr. Opal Lee led a 2.5-mile walk to start the Juneteenth celebration there. She's known as the grandmother of Juneteenth, a leading advocate for making Juneteenth a federal holiday. In Wisconsin, the city of Stevens Point marked the holiday for the first time with a festival.
Important for me and other folks to connect with folks in the community and understand that we're here.
In Buffalo, New York, site of one of the nation's largest Juneteenth festivals, the state's governor paused to remember the victims of last month's racist attack at a crowded grocery store. In Washington, the National Archives is displaying the original Emancipation Proclamation alongside the Juneteenth order, while visitors to the National Museum of African American History and Culture find educational programs and exhibits marking the holiday.
I hope people understand not only the importance of Juneteenth to African American culture, but also its relevance to all of American culture and history.
Juneteenth, a day to reflect, remember, and to celebrate. Chris Pallone, NBC News, Washington.